But I just wanted to say, I was talking to people about free tuition a while ago, and they said, you college students are a bunch of freeloaders, you took out the loans, you should be stuck with them. And then this guy was standing out by our camp down in Lincoln Square, and he was taking pictures, so I went over and talked to him. He was appalled. He was from Sweden, and he was appalled that we had to pay to go to college. He's like, it's free where I'm from. And I told him that I'm a student teacher right now, and I have to pay $3,000 to student teach. And I can't work because I'm student teaching. So it doesn't make sense. A lot of people say that we should blame the government, and a lot of people say that we should blame corporations. But I think we all need to blame ourselves. People say that the system's broken. The system's not broken, we just haven't been using it. A lot of countries that have great social services, they have great social services because they're afraid of their people. There are so many of us. If we all stood up, the government would have to give us what we wanted. Banks are allowed to charge what they do because we allow them to. If we all took our money out of the banks that charge ridiculous fees and put them into other banks or credit unions, then, like I said, I didn't write a speech. Then those banks would have to change the way they're doing things to get our business back. And we could keep switching to whoever offers the best until everybody has to offer the best. We talk about, well, everybody talks about how great the free market is, but we haven't really been using the free market. We've just been letting ourselves get raped. Marshall McLuhan said that the message is the medium. There's a lot of criticism that we don't know what our message is. But I think our message is that we're pissed and we're standing here together and we're willing to camp in tents to make the point that things suck. And camp is awesome. I stay down in camp. I know a lot of you guys who stay down in camp. And camp is also a message. We had somebody drop off vegetables, like a ridiculous amount of vegetables. And I have a stove at my house, which I'm not at because I'm so pissed off about the way things are going. So I took people who actually knew how to cook and the free donated vegetables, and I brought them over my house last night, and we got food. And then when I finished cooking the food, I realized I didn't have anything to put them in for like Tupperware containers. So my dad drove some containers over and dropped them off. So making soup for the people at camp was like a 5-person process. And everything's kind of like that. Somebody dropped off signs. They wanted to contribute, but they didn't have the time. So they dropped off these, they're over there. Hey, Shane, will you hold up a sign? Yeah, somebody dropped off these signs, they're dry erase signs. Somebody else made these signs, and they're chalkboard signs. So we have one person who dropped off signs, one person who writes the sayings on the signs, and another person with the free time to actually hold up the signs. So if we had a society that was run by who can do what and who needs what, I don't think we would need all this corporate bullshit. And I don't have much for a speech, so that's all I got.
Hello everyone. Just a quick couple of announcements. The march is going to begin right after this gentleman, and we are going to go down near the financial district. And I totally forgot what the other one was that I was going to say.
Hi, man.
Hi, I'm Holly. I helped organize this musical event today called Rockupy, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I read this little note that I wrote earlier today, and I'm going to read it again because we have so many new people here and I'm really excited. welcome. This show was put together today in solidarity with the 99% movement, the Occupy Wall Street movement that's going on in New York City. And it's also in solidarity with the over, what do we have, like 800 to 1,000 other occupation movements across the US and Canada and even the world now. But this is more than just a solidarity movement. This is an Occupy Maine movement. This is our state. What I have to say today does not represent the views of all, but I am of the 99%. This is not a left or right issue, gay or straight, black or white, men versus women, local versus foreign, young versus old. It is everyone's issue. We see the signs around us that something is not right, but we don't know where we went wrong. Please don't look at the media for an answer or an explanation. I don't really see Channel 6 or Channel 13 or anyone down here recording this today. I'm kind of wondering why not, because there's actually quite a few people here today, and we have a march later. Talk to your fellow 99%. Form your own opinion. Take it upon yourself to engage other people in our ever-unifying culture. Don't believe the media or the politicians when they try to categorize or divide us. We are all of humanity. We have the same needs, desires, and aspirations. Our lives aren't so different that we cannot create real change in our day-to-day existence. Our existence is finite, and to divide us is to stunt our true potential. This is an important moment in history. Revel in it. This is the beginning of a new social and cultural revolution for all. Yeah. The human population is growing exponentially and must evolve to deal with the issues of the 21st century. Please join this conversation. The media will not facilitate this conversation. Join a work group. Come to our General Assemblies at 6 o'clock at Monument Square. It is the 99% who must re-examine its values and take back from those who control our medicine, food, natural resources, water, media, monetary system, and national and international policy. I know that we all have opinions, and it's time that we unite and act upon them. Please take the time to check out our library at the Spartan Grill at Monument Square or our information table. We are disenfranchised. We have let an elite group of businesses tell us that we must pay for a global financial crisis in which they created. It was the banks who gambled, the banks who lost, and it's the bank's crisis, not ours. Woo! Redistribution of wealth and resources to the people must begin now. Redistribute the tax burden. This should no longer be up for debate. The only people who are fighting this are the 1%, and they are spending their money to fight and muddle the issue. The monetary crisis is designed to remove people from their homes and assets in order to be taken by the banks. This has become a form of enslavement all around the world. Ask yourself who is controlling who. Furthermore, we are not to be engulfed or corrupted by any political party. Sorry, we won't fall for that again. I worked really hard as a political science student at USM for the Obama campaign, and we had posters that said change and hope and kind of stuff like that. And I feel like we got quite a large percent of the college percentage of people voting, and I've just been so upset that young people who really thought that change could happen has not happened. So we need to take it upon ourselves. President Clinton mentioned that he is in support of the Occupy movement, but he said that we need to come up with a set of demands to list to our congressional people to tell them what we want. But what the talking heads don't understand is that this collective is beyond any of our current political and economic structures. Where are our mayoral candidates today? We've had a couple speak. No one has reached out to officially speak to the 99% or Occupy Maine. Where are our representatives and congresspeople when we need them? Where is Shelley Pingree today? Where is Susan Collins? Where is Olympia Snow? Ask them some questions. Find out who they care about. I want to let you know that our Congress, our representative people, have free health care for life for them and their families. And yet they are pushing legislation to disenfranchise everyone else from the healthcare system. When was the last time they reached out to the people of Maine? Where is our governor? Is he busy tearing down labor wall murals and supporting big oil in our state? Let's have him speak to the 99%, please. It is painfully clear to us that to sit back and to let our corrupt political structure buy out our food, education, housing, healthcare, jobs, environment, financial, national and international policies will only isolate us from our most basic of human rights. This is an issue for our time. How we choose to act or not act will follow us. Our city is a microcosm of how people from all walks of life can unite and live peaceably in the best interest of all. A safe, cultured, and beautiful state is not a luxury to be bought and sold, but a human right only allowed from the united effort of all. Thank you for coming out today in solidarity with the 99%. We have one more speaker.
I'm Alan, and I want to talk on an issue, but first I want to make an announcement for anyone who has a video of Professor Hiller's lecture. Please post it to occupymaine@gmail.com. With that, let me talk or share with you. And I'm not a professor. I'm a retiree who is a substitute teacher at Sanford High School. So I'm not in the same league in terms of economic knowledge as Professor Hiller. But I'd like to talk with you a little bit, and I'll try and make it not like teaching, but on the issue of empire. Now, traditionally, and I'll make this real quick if I can, traditionally a conventional belief of the socialist environment is that, and I'm not a socialist, I'm not speaking for a particular socialist party or anything of that sort, but is that, just to understand it, capitalism, which seems to be the main focus of the group, and I realize there is this whole issue of not defining a demand, a goal, a single issue, and there shouldn't be. But capitalism is the highest and last element of class war. That's a traditional socialist belief structure. But what I'd like to do is talk to the issue of empire. Empire is the earliest and first element of class war. Empire is the mechanism that was used to take from some group outside the tribe, outside the territory, outside the nation state, obviously predates nation states, and bring to a central location the wealth so as to serve that central entity, that central elite. Obviously that's what Wall Street is doing. So there is the sense that empire, along with capitalism, both of which are elements of class warfare, is a factor in the Occupy movement, is a valid factor in the Occupy movement. There are some tactical reasons, not technical reasons, that using the term empire is quite helpful from a tactical standpoint, particularly with those elements that are most likely to be inclined toward either violence or strong anti-movement, anti-Occupy. Even though they're within the 99%, there are people, mainly from Kansas. What's the matter with Kansas? They vote against their own economic self-interest. And I'm kidding, not just Kansas, but everywhere. Anyone who's taken in by the two-party system, obviously, is potentially an alternative voice within the 99% in America. And some of them get, the Tea Party types can get a little overly anxious, a little overly aggressive. The media can also. Using the terminology of attacking capitalism has a normative response among a high percentage of the U.S. population. Not you guys, but a lot of people my age. If you're against capitalism, you're a commie. So it can be a somewhat troublesome term when used in blunt terms. Whereas empire, even, and I've tried this with Tea Partiers, if you go up to a Tea Partier who has an IQ above his belt size, and knows that the first shot heard around the world was not in Concord, New Hampshire, as Michelle Bachmann thought. Generally, you can, in quick dialogue and discussion with them, get them to agree that, yeah, empire, that's what we were founded. We were against empire. We overthrew an empire. Admittedly, it was a violent overthrow. Most overthrows of empires up until now have been violent. There was one person who was on Earth for a while many years ago who confronted the Roman Empire, and he didn't use violence, but they killed him. It was partially an effective mechanism. He actually used love as his weapon rather than the sword that was expected of a Messiah. In any case, the proposition is, and I think it's fairly easy to state, that the United States government, our country, our government, all aspects of our government, have been captured and occupied by a disguised empire. And this empire, which you can nominally call a corporate financial militarist empire, you can call it any string of things you want because it dominates our political life, it controls our economic life, it controls our social life, and it controls our very lives if it turns to militancy. The empire that controls the United States is best and quickly understood as being a Vichy empire. And for some of the younger crowd, Vichy was the empire installed by, it was the government installed by the Nazi Empire when it invaded and occupied France. The problem was that we have to keep on going. So, two-party Vichy Empire set up with two different parties, which Goebbels, probably rolling over in his grave, is saying to Hitler now, Mein Führer, I failed you. We should have formed a two-party Vichy Empire and installed it not in France, but the fatherland. A two-party, simply by offering two, makes it look like you've got a real government. You don't have a real government. You have an empire under that government.
I didn't mean to cut him off. Certainly people can feel free to speak later. I agree with most of what he said, except that we do not have capitalism. We have corporate welfare in this country. And now here's Travis.